Good morning. It's Judge's Jules. It's been a little while, Si, but we're both back now with a view for your tracker. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not so bad. Morning, all. Good to be back. Yeah, some good racing at Cheltenham.
Yeah. It was really
and
good.
One thing I would point out, yet again, when we're accused of being a bit negative, but Cheltenham's ground, the times on the Friday were much quicker than the forecast ground. A lot of the jockeys were interviewed saying it isn't. The Irish jockeys were laughing at the description, with the English jockeys saying if this was Ireland, it'd be good to firm. They're being slightly sarcastic, but certainly not heavy, certainly not whatever. And yet they didn't change the ground really for the big Saturday. And there's quite a few horses that were well bet that just did not act. For instance, he won actually went off favourite, the Tizard one with the funny name, gear name, or the hurdler that had been second here. Needs heavy ground or really deep ground. Just got totally outpaced and then came up the hill a bit late. So be careful when you look at that. Some of the horses seem to have underperformed, but I just think it's because the ground was too fast. So again, Cheltenham,
it was definitely faster than it said, wasn't it?
Yeah, just change on the Saturday. If you've got it wrong on the Friday, you have the guts to change the ground on Saturday. Because the times don't lie. That wasn't heavy ground. That wasn't soft ground.
No.
But there you go. There's the moan.
Yeah, at least we can get it out of the way early.
Exactly.
So there's normally 5 from us. I just wanted to add one from last week very quickly. I thought if anyone wants to put this horse in your tracker, the horse is called Collector's Item. It ran at the Sandown on the Friday last week. To my eye, I think this has got one of them little nationals at one of the smaller tracks with his name written on it. I can see it running well at one of them sort of like minor nationals. It really hit the line strongly on the Friday, and so he's one I'm just going to put up as a little Brucey bonus for everyone this week. So Collector's Item. I think I've got a John Joe O'Neill Love Fest this week. So I've definitely got another one of his. Might as well go there with this one. I don't know what you think, Si, but I thought his winner of the handicap chase, the 12:40 on Saturday, Are You Wise to That? I thought this won a shade comfortably. Its official distance was a length and a half, but hit the last fence. It got the job done, and I could see him running one of the Cheltenham handicaps later in the year. This horse was beaten by Inchouse in a point-to-point, and interestingly, the same connections bought this horse as well, out of the same point-to-point. And Inchouse has really been progressive this year, and this horse now has won 2 of his last 3 starts. But stepping up in trip was the key to this horse, and I think he really enjoyed the 3-mile trip. And I think he's one for the festival handicap come the end of the season, mate.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it was a big horse for the HFC club because our trackman, who had done Dysart Enos on the Friday and then was there on the Saturday, told us on Friday night, this is the biggest bet of the year. Are you wise to that? We flagged it up. It's not after timing. Look at Saturday's column. This is his biggest cash bet of the year. Told clients to bet it win only. Now, the interesting thing about that is that he'd been at Ascot, seen this horse in the paddock before. We'd actually seen it win at Warwick impressively and land a nice little touch first time out. Then they'd gone to Ascot, backed it, I think, from 6-1 to 7-2. Said it was a standout in the paddock, really nice type. And, of course, gets to the first fence, jumps miles out to the left. Gets to the second fence, jumps miles out to the left. So, of course, in the form book, you've got the Shoesy disappointing performance. But he's just turned around and said, Tracky, that this horse will never, ever be seen right-handed again. Forget it, line through it. And, of course, then it's priced up on the 2 runs. But if you look at the Warwick race, which has worked out, going back left-handed at Cheltenham, had it not flopped at Ascot, I think this would be a 94 favourite on Saturday.
Yeah, I do.
But we ended up getting him the 5-1.
He didn't stay, did he? He doesn't stay that horse, I don't think.
No, and so you're right. I think the next time we'll possibly see this, talk about taking it back to Warwick for one of those big handicaps there. But he's got to be thinking Cheltenham entry, big chase handicaps. Because this is an improving horse.
Yeah, it could get in the Ultima, couldn't it? Or something like that. Yeah. Kinmure, probably the Ultima, probably.
Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, great horse and a great result. So, he's one for everyone's tracker.
Brilliant. Well, there we go. We started with a couple of John Jones for you.
Yeah, yeah. Now a non-John Joe horse for me, and it's probably the first time I've ever flagged up anything trained by Anthony Charlton. No offense to him, but I really was impressed with his horse Balboa on Saturday. Now this was in the 12:05, and it was the JCB Triumph Trial. Now I looked on a Friday, and the favourite, or what ultimately was the favourite, and Brad and Fiza, was 5-2, 5-2 into 5-4. It's fair to say that the confidence behind this was huge. Trained by Jack Jones. It's not often Jack Jones beats one by Anthony Charlton in a big Cheltenham race, is it?
No,
But
no.
he's got all the one of the gambles of the year so far. He's got all the kudos, and rightly so. Won a shade cozy. But this horse Balboa has stepped up on anything it's ever done. And to put this in context, you've got 25 lengths further back to the third, Eagle Prince of Brian Ellison's. And I can tell you, they thought that was going to run a big race. Kourosh, of course, has fallen at the last.
Yeah.
The other sort of main contender, but I thought that hurdled very, very poorly, and I'm not sure he's going to have to sort that out if he's going to threaten a Cheltenham. But I think this Balboa now, Judge, I am not saying anybody should bet this for Triumphs and whatever. I'm just saying, yeah, I suspect this will be something for the Musselburgh race in the new year where they have the trials day there.
Yeah.
I could see it going for that trial, or I could see him coming back here for a handicap. But this is a huge. That was a hugely, in the context of that, it's clear that the winner is regarded as a festival contender, and he's got within 3 lengths of it. So I think they're going to be clever here. Maybe go for an all-age handicap, or go for the trial at Musselburgh, the one that Henderson always sends one up, or Nichols, and he could be a lively price for that. Now, small yard, yeah, he's going to be underrated, but very, very interesting, improving horse. So he would be my first one, Balboa.
Yeah, I thought that was a good run. He stayed on well as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, they went quite hard. Yeah, I think he's a nice type. I definitely think he'll be winning more races this season, that's for sure. Right, we're going to move on from a 2-mile hurdle race to a 3-mile 6 chase. But I thought the biggest eye catcher at the weekend, and I really fancied this horse anti-post for a Cheltenham race, the old cross-country chase. I was really impressed with the run of Manila Indo, an ex-Gold Cup winner. And I thought this was very quietly ridden, came through, had 12 stone on his back, tried to give weight to everything in the race. The winner, Late Night Pass, was a worthy winner, but he's trying to give a hell of a lot of weight to this horse. First try on this course, you know, apparently jumped banks and everything at home. It's been sort of like a little bit disappointing. I think he's had quite a lot of racing, the horse, but this was a terrific run. And if he comes back for the final, this off level weights, this is going to take quite a lot of beating. And nearly the cross-country chase these days is nearly always won by one of these classy ex-grade 1 horses, you know, Galvin and horses like that. And I thought this was a really good run. She was quietly ridden by Rachel Blackmore out the back and came through what looked like a winning challenge around the home bend. But that late move probably cost it quite a bit of momentum and energy. And I thought this was a nice run. She didn't knock him about either. And I thought there was definitely ridden with the big one in mind at the end, in March. You could see him running in a grade 1 before then. But if he turns straight up, I'll be quite happy if he just goes straight there, really.
I think he may well do. And I mean, she took some stick for the ride, quiet one of them. But this is where people have got, and I want horses to be always giving it their best because people are punting on them. However, you've got to think and use your brain here. Galvin and Manila Endo have given stacks of weight to everything in that race. They finished 4th and 5th. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they fought out the big 1 and 2 in March.
No,
and I think Galvin's lost a shoe, and then again they're being ridden, but they're not being like really giving it the works. That's Galvin's second look. He's had 2 sighters at this course.
That's right.
And your Manila Endo had such a quiet run. I know she's got stick for it, but I'm sure that they were her orders. This is a sighter. If you can win,
Yeah.
win, but don't knock the horse around. He's got oodles of weight. Coming back here, they're going to both feel like they're running free, aren't they, on the big day? And I cannot see anything that finished in front of Galvin and Manila Indo on Friday being in front of them in the Big Ian match. I just can't see it.
The turnaround, the weights and everything. No.
Yeah, I just cannot see it. And people will bet the winner, and it's great. Frankie de Burley, people bet that, but you've got to turn up. They're going to have a mountain to climb to do this again in March.
Yeah.
Like you, I wouldn't be surprised if the next time you see these two is here. They might have one more run each, but it's clear that the target for Manila Endo is to win this cross country. The whole year is going to be built around.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Very, very impressive sighter. You're right. Yes. And I'd be interested to know, actually, the price. I've not had a look before, but the anti-post price, there's not much juice in those markets. But
no. I think I did have a look.
At the
moment.
Yeah, I think that's good value.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a small win on it now, and then sort of near the time, when you
there are worse anti-post bets. If you're building up an anti-post pot, and it's less of a thing I do now than I used to do years ago, because the value's not where it was in these markets. Getting the bets on. But if you are building up an anti-post pot or doing your early lookies and things, you could do a lot worse than getting them two in your pot now.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to drift on the day, are they? They're going to be the two that are bet.
That's right. I mean, you've got to,
yeah, very, very good one.
You know it's going to be targeted for the race, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Now, my second one, back to the Saturday.
In the last race, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the horse, I'll just very quickly mention that I thought In Excelsis Dio ran an interesting race in the 115. The Harry Fry, John Jones. It just made me think.
Mistake, didn't it?
Yeah, that made a bad mistake. And I just think maybe it wasn't quite. I think that could be back one of those JP ones that is lined up for either Ascot, where he tends to go for it, Harry Fry, or back here. So I just thought that didn't, and a few of the people said it looked like it needed the race as well before. I just think the horse is better than we saw on Saturday, but that's not my final one. I've gone for two very big. I would say small yards. This is not a small yard. The one there, the Charlton one. But this is Anthony Honeyball, who I think is having another excellent season. He had the third horse, Good Luck Charm, in the last race, the 2 mile 4 handicap hurdle. Won by Nurse Susan for Dan and Harry Skelton. Harry Skelton, of course, took so much grief for his shocking mistake on Grey Dawning, but that's for another day. Martha Devine was second, beaten half a length. Really good finish there. But 2 lengths back in third was Good Luck Charm. And I'm sort of think that this one didn't quite get up the hill. It led, looked to be going good 2 out. And it's one of those horses, Judge, that I just made some notes straight away of I would like to see this on a flat track. Or if they did come back to Cheltenham, brought back in trip. I just thought it stretched it, but I thought somewhere like Kempton, a 3 mile hurdle there, or kind of Weatherby, where he's had a lot of success over the years, or Haydock, where he's had a lot of success. I think this is the one to get with next time. I thought it was 2 out, bang there, and then you just saw up the run that the front two, they were pulling away, and he was almost treading water up that hill. So it's not quite got home in this grid, but there is a big handicap hurdle in this, I'm convinced, but possibly not at Cheltenham. So I'm looking for your Kemptons, your Weatherbys, your Haydocks, and Honeyball's nobody's full. Very, very shrewd cookie. So I think this is one to get with. It was a good run, and it just didn't quite get up the hill. Big price, so you got paid each way if you did it, but Good Luck Charm for me is definitely going in the tracker.
Yeah, it was a good run, and £5 out of the handicap side as well. It was.
Yeah,
so it was
very laudable.
Yeah, so I mean, like you say, you can see it winning off its mark for sure. Slightly down. So obviously that was a good graded race. I did spot one further back in that race. I don't know what quite. I've only watched that race back once so far. I want to watch it back again. I thought the Tizard also ran a good race in that. I love the Nightlife. It was well
Yeah, it did.
last, second last. And
Well,
that's his
he's
first
the
run for a
opposite.
while.
He's the
Yeah.
opposite. Whereas Good Luck
Yes.
Charm, I think, didn't quite get home. He looked like he needed a slightly stiffer test.
I agree. Yeah, because that was a one horse that was finishing best. I think with that another flight of hurdles, it could have ended up winning the race. You know, sort of this. But I thought it was an interesting first time out effort, and definitely on its back form would have a chance. But he's not my tracker, but that's the one I spotted.
I think it's
my
going
last
to
one for the tracker.
Good form. Yeah.
Yeah, was on the Friday. I don't know what time the race was. It was on the Friday. Was in the handicap hurdle. The one by Go Dante. Wasn't there a lot of money for that? That ended up going off favourite, quite surprisingly.
115.
The 115, that's it. One by Go Dante, the Ollie Murphy horse. Made a mistake at the last, the winner, and still out-battled them. I thought Willie the Builder was the horse to take out of this race. Because I certainly think the way that he travelled, it paid to be up with the pace in that race. The first, sort of two of the first three were in the first three all the way round. And I thought he was held up last, and he came through, and he didn't make his mind up which side of the track he was ever going. It didn't cost him victory, but making up all that ground when they're still quickening off a slow pace is quite hard work. And the horse did ever so well to get in there. And its previous run in a Grade 2 at Cheltenham, it was full to look away, is excellent form. There's been lots of horses run well out of that novice hurdle of that card. And I thought this was a decent run. Like you say, it's probably not as soft as the ground as they said it was going to be. Which probably doesn't make any difference to this horse. I think this horse can definitely win off its current mark. And I'm probably not back at Cheltenham. Once again, I can see him probably going to a slightly lower graded track and popping up and winning a couple of handicaps this season. I think Willie the Builder's got some more damage to be done off his mark.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't agree more. And just reiterating the point about the ground, I think Godante really moved well on it. And you saw the second Doddy the Great. He seemed to be just that one pace, that grinder. I think the drying ground probably cost him the race. If he gets back on the deep winter ground at Ascot or back here, I think he's got another couple of wins in him. But yeah, strange because you can't say Harry Skelton didn't do some good rides over the Friday and Saturday. Of course he did. We've just been talking about the race that Nurse Susan. He's given that great ride. Clearly a good jockey. Yeah. He's just had some complete where he's taken leave of his senses a couple of times during the meeting. And I know he likes to be attacking and aggressive, but going back to Grey Dawn, that also just popped round and had come through and just taken the lead. There was absolutely no reason not just to pop the last two fences like they've been doing and scoot up the hill. When you ask a horse for a big one, it's when you need one, when it's a length behind, when it's like needing to get into it. That's when you go for your Desert Orchids. And he did it on a couple of other occasions. So he's a rider. There's a couple of riders at the moment, top riders, him and Brendan Powell, that I think are making a hell of a lot of errors in big races. And maybe it's a confidence thing. I don't know. But, the horse for me is always 99% of the bet, Judge. But just sometimes in those big races, you need the right pilot. And they've still got a little bit to prove, I think, going into the big Christmas meetings.
Yeah. And obviously we've got a big week ahead, haven't we, with the long walk hurdle at the end of the week.
Incredible. We've got a great meeting at Newbury on Wednesday. That's getting slightly forgotten, but that is a cracker. Really good. Looking at the early decks for that. Really excited about that. Friday and Saturday at Ascot. I mean, everyone loves Cheltenham, but I think these 2 days are amongst the best jumping races of the whole
year. Just a nice
and
little lead up to Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah. The big races just come at you, the last four. They are all brilliant. So that's going to be great. And then we're hitting in towards Kempton and Cheltenham at New Year, not forgetting that big Welsh National. So we have got a huge couple of weeks coming. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, let's say I want to wish everybody a good week ahead. And what do we always say at the end of the show?
Be lucky at Christmas.
Be lucky and have a good Christmas.
Cheers, everybody.